Hey everybody, welcome. Welcome to our day 3. Who are you and where are you? Let's see where you're from. Go ahead and put up your city, state, country in the chat. I said it yesterday, I'll say it again. We've had people from all over the world. Switzerland, Ecuador, South America. I think Australia was in the house. I see Florida right now, so hi Florida. Glad that you're here. Where else are you guys watching from? I know that I'm live right now on YouTube, so hey everyone on YouTube, and then all of the rest of you should be in our private challenge Facebook group. And if you're like, hey, I want to be in that private challenge Facebook group, well then I got good news for you, and I'm going to tell you in just a second on how to get there. I just want to do the hi, how are yous really quick. We have Austin here. Hey Austin, I'm in Austin too. TGIF to you. Hi New York. Just joined the program, Jennifer. I'm so excited. Phase 1 is going to be so important, heart work, so make sure that you're in it to win it. Charlotte, North Carolina. I have lots of success stories in Charlotte, North Carolina. I shouldn't say lots, several success stories in Charlotte, North Carolina. Love Charlotte. It's a great place. The Ozarks of Missouri. Never been there. That sounds amazing. Welcome. We got California here. We got Oklahoma here. I was just in Norman, Oklahoma. Long story. I won't bore you with the details. Alabama. I don't know about the Roll Tide thing, friend. I'm going to say go Bucks, but at the same time, I appreciate your team spirit. What else do we got? Who else do we have? Who else? I'm going to make a slurpee sound. Who else do we have? Who else? All right. Let's get started because we have a long way to go and a short time to get there. Remember that? Remember that saying? All right, so welcome to Summer of Love Challenge Day 3. And make sure you stay till the end because I'm going to give away a prize. I've been giving away a prize every single day. And I'm going to give it away to someone who is here watching. My team just randomly picked someone that is commenting. So make sure that you're not only watching, but you're also engaging and commenting in the comment stream so that we can pick you as the winner today. All right, so if you're watching on YouTube, hey, how are ya? I'm so glad that you are tuning in live on YouTube. But the rest of you are probably watching from our private Facebook community. So we have a private Facebook community. We actually have one for men and for women. And if you want to make sure that you are there, then you're going to have to go to jackiedorman.com. At the top of the homepage, there is an opt-in for the challenge. It doesn't matter that this is the last day of the challenge. You're still going to get all kinds of goodies in your email. We will not spam you. We will not email you every day unless we're in the middle of some fun thing that we don't want you to miss out on. And you will get in that confirmation when you opt in a whole bunch of information, including how to get to those private Facebook groups. And I pop into those groups. I teach in those groups. I post love stories, success stories in those groups. I encourage you in those groups. And so I want to make sure that you definitely get to join that if you are on social media. Now I'm going to tell you all about the Last Year Single Challenge today towards the end. So make sure that you're staying on and you can win that prize. And you can also find out how you can continue the momentum from this challenge. We don't want this challenge to just be a moment. We want it to be momentum. And so God, we're so thankful that you brought us here, all of us. All of us are here because we've surrendered to the idea that we cannot do this on our own, that we need help. That we need help in order to have the things that you have for us in life. And so God, I just pray right now that all of us realize that you are the source, but you're also the head of the human resource department. And oftentimes you send human resources to help us to get the breakthrough that we're looking for. And so teach us, show us, heal us, grow us today. Let our hands and our hearts be open to whatever it is that you have to say to us, specifically to us. Let that arrow hit the mark. In Jesus' name, amen. All right. All right. I hope that you guys follow me on Instagram. If you don't, it's Jackie Dorman Official. I've been posting some really great stuff over there that's really going to help you get out of your own way. I've been using some references from pop culture because it's a good object lesson. It's something that everyone has been able to watch and see, specifically the relationships of some famous people. Everyone's been kind of watching and listening because there are songs that are associated with those relationships as well. from a distance. Of course, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes of those relationships, just like no one knows what's going on behind the scenes of your relationship unless you tell them. You know, all those people that you put on pedestals, possibly the spiritual leaders in your life, you don't know what's going on behind the scenes in their relationships and in their families. In fact, oftentimes we get blindsided because we think that something's perfect and then we find out it's not. We've idolized human beings. We've put them up on pedestals, and then when they fall down, we're surprised. We're like, oh my gosh, I thought that person was above reproach. I thought that person was perfect. Why? Why would you think such a thing? And we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about fantasizing and idolizing because we got to get that out of our lives. People are people. Humans are not perfect. You know who is perfect? Christ. You know who is perfect? God. And it's important that we understand that all of our trust and our hope needs to be safely placed in Him, not in people, because people will fail you. They're going to fail you. You know, these future marriages that you're hoping for, your spouse, your spirit mate, that great man or woman that you've been searching for, they're going to fail you. It doesn't have to be an epic fail. It doesn't have to be, lying to you or cheating on you, abusing you, right? They don't have to be a liar, a cheater, or a beater, but they are going to fail you. There are going to be moments when you're like, wow, I wasn't expecting that from you, where they're going to lose their temper, or they're cool, or they're going to say things that they shouldn't say or that they don't mean, when they have stuff in their heart that's not fully healed, that's going to get triggered by some situation in your relationship, and it's going to cause them to act or speak in a way that's unworthy of them. That's going to happen. They're going to handle something in their brokenness incorrectly. They're going to make a bad decision. Maybe you're going to trust them to make a decision about something, and it's not going to be that great of a decision, and then you're both going to pay the consequences for it, maybe like a financial decision. My husband David and I have had that happen. In fact, we have a rule now in our marriage because of that. If both of us are not on board, if both of us don't have a confirmation or peace, at least peace in our spirit to move forward on any big decision, we just don't move forward on it. We just let it simmer. We just let it simmer in the pot, on the back burner. We pray into it. We continue to cover it with prayer. We continue to check in with each other about it. But when it comes to important decisions, big decisions, we do not do anything out of agreement with each other. And one person may not be like a hard pass or a no. They just don't feel peace about it yet. And so it's okay to allow that to wait. You're not going to miss out on something by making sure that you're in agreement with your partner. It's going to be an important thing. And why does that rule exist? Why does that rule exist in our marriage? Well, I'll tell you why, but it's the same reason why when you go to a new job, they give you a list of rules of conduct for the business place, and you look at those and you read those, and some of them are weird. Some of them are weird, like don't wear prom dresses or evening wear to work. What? Why? Because somebody did it, friends, and more than one person if it made it on the code of conduct. A lot of times on that code of conduct it says don't have romantic relationships with coworkers. Why do you think that's there? Because a lot of drama and chaos has happened at that specific company, and they don't want that liability. They don't want the people that are supposed to be working all caught up in the drama of relationships, because most times work relationships end. And sometimes the people are married and shouldn't even be having a relationship. Hello, Coldplay. So that's why that exists. And so the reason why coming into agreement with each other and being in agreement is a rule for David and I is because we made a bad decision about renting a house early in our marriage. There was a house, it was for rent. We wanted to move out of the little tiny but townhouse that we were living in. Remember how I told you we were next door neighbors? Well, we had identical townhouses, and they were big enough for his family with just him, and my family for just me and my daughter. But then when you take me and my daughter and you put us in a 3-bedroom townhouse and there isn't any other rooms, and then you have my daughter sleeping on a pull-out trundle. Of course, I had a room to go to because I just shared my husband's room, but it just got really cramped with our family, and we needed to find a bigger space. So this house was amazing, you guys. It was the model house. I really feel like Holy Spirit's going to teach us something through this story. It's not even in my notes, And those are the best types of stories and analogies that are used, anecdotes. So it was the model house of this new build community. All the houses were built now, but you know how they have like a sample house at the front of the community? Well, that's what it was. But now it was purchased and it was for rent because it was no longer a model. But you know what model houses have? They have all the best finishes, don't they? They have the nice hardwood. They have the expensive countertops. They have the good lighting fixtures and sink fixtures. They have the bigger ensuite bathrooms with soaking tubs. That's what model houses have. Model houses are supposed to show you everything that's possible in these new build homes of this community. It also had a perfect placement in front of a beautiful pond, and the outside was so cute, the yard was so cute, everything was so cute except the price tag, friends. That's what wasn't so cute. We did the math and the math didn't math. Both of us would have to give a lot of our paychecks to this house, and we would become what you call house poor. And we wouldn't even be owning this house. We would just be renting it. But the rent was way above what we should have been looking at. But gosh darn it, if we don't like nice things. I know you like nice things, and I know that we like nice things, and I especially know that David Dorman, my husband, likes nice things. In fact, oftentimes he's got champagne and caviar dreams on a beer budget. And that's what was happening here. And we were newly married. We had only been married for less than a year when this was happening. And he really wanted to do it. He really thought we could do it. I didn't have a peace about it. It wasn't a hard no because the house was amazing. I could see our family in it. It had a loft for the kids. All the kids would have their own bedrooms. It would just be incredible, right? Wrong. That lack of peace was a harbinger, and we should have paid attention to it, especially since the person who had the lack of peace was the female, the woman in the relationship, when oftentimes women can be a little bit more intuitive and a little bit more prophetic. And so we ignored my lack of peace. Me too. I ignored it. He ignored it. We made the decision. And friends, that house was amazing. And we lived there for over a year. But guess what? During the time that we lived there, not one of us, but both of us lost our jobs. Both of us. Both of us lost our jobs while we were living there. And it just became a situation where we got behind on the rent that was already too high. And it just really, that the landlord was not a nice person, and just, it became a trauma. It really did. Not for the kids, because we didn't let them know what was going on, but it did become a trauma for us. And so now that's why that rule exists in our relationship, in our marriage. Hey, if one of us doesn't have peace, let's pay attention to that. Let's hold space for that, right? That's important. It's important to be in agreement. And so this person that you are going to be married to someday, because that's why you're here, and I believe I'm holding space for your love story. I have a supernatural gift of hope in this area that helps people get married. Regardless of what you've been through, regardless of how many times you've tried and failed, regardless of how many times you've just been passed by and you've never been in a relationship, supernatural marriage stories happen here. Supernatural love stories happen here. They do. 1,600 plus of them so far, and I believe that you're next. But I want to tell you that this person that God has, coming towards you, and it could be any number of people. I don't want you to get into the idea that there's the one. But in different seasons, there are better fits. Let's just be honest. In different seasons of our lives, there are people that fit us better. I gave a word at the beginning of 2025 for all my singles community, and it was the word full circle. I knew in my spirit that God was saying that people were going to have another opportunity to do something that they were not mature enough to do, or they didn't have the resources to do, or they didn't have the healing to do. Like those opportunities were going to come full circle in the year 2025. In the framework or the examples of jobs and relationships, but also spirit mates. And I cannot tell you how many people in our community have reconnected with someone from their past. In fact, one of our guys, he is a great guy. He got divorced, through, I'm not going to say through no fault of his own. It always takes two to tango. But he wanted, the relationship, the marriage to work. There's children involved, all the things. Ladies, I know that you think that men are the villains of all the stories, but they're simply not. I have all kinds of good guys that come through here that, it was the woman that left the marriage. It was the woman that abandoned the children. It was the woman that cheated and was unfaithful. It was the woman that had mental health crisis and didn't get help for it. It was the woman, not the man. Okay. And he's one of the examples of that. So he's been in our program and, dated a little bit, a woman in our program, just very casual, low stakes, kind of level 2, getting to know you dating. And I released this word, and guess what happened to him? He reconnected with someone that he didn't even get a chance to go on a date with. Someone that he met years ago, 20 years ago, and really was like, wow, I wonder what it would be like to date her. And she thought the same thing about him, but they never pulled the lever. Pull the lever, Kronk. They never pulled the lever on that. They never were able to, make that a reality. And now they've come full circle. They came full circle. They reconnected. In fact, I think it was through something that I was teaching that made him think of her. So he went and looked her up, and she was single, and he reached out to her, and now they are dating towards marriage. In fact, they're going to be getting married or getting engaged soon, and it's so exciting. But that's not the only person. So many people have written to me and say, hey, Jackie, that full circle word that happened for me with a job that I really wanted, that I wasn't able to relocate for, but now I can. And, that opportunity has come full circle, or a relationship that never got off the ground for whatever reason. And now, we're together and we're getting married. So exciting. It's so exciting. But friends, so there's not one out there for you necessarily, but there are people that fit you better in different seasons of your life. The person who you could have matched with in your 20s and what you were doing in life now then is probably wouldn't be the same person that you would match with now, except for maybe these full circle situations where people started growing the same direction. That's amazing and that's beautiful. When we get married really young, we have to grow together. We have to be intentional to grow together. And so someone that you met a long time ago in a different season of your life, it's possible that their life took a whole different direction than what your life has taken, and you wouldn't be a compatible person for them now. So God understands compatibility. In fact, we have a saying here at Last Year Single, and it's just this: God knows who you are, He knows where you are, He knows what you need, and He knows how to get it to you. I want you to say that over yourself right now. God knows who I am. He knows where I am, not just where you are geographically, but also where you are in life, what season of life you're in. He knows who I am. He knows where I am. He knows what I need, even more than you know what you need. And He knows how to get it to me. I want you to write that down. And I want you to let that be a declaration over your life. If you feel like God is not looking out for you, if you feel like He doesn't see you, if you feel lost, if you feel invisible, a lot of times we feel invisible because we're actually hiding. We're hiding because trauma doesn't just hurt us, it creates different versions of us. And it might create an isolated version of you. It might create a version of you that thinks that it's being overlooked, but it's not being overlooked. It's just out of sight. And God wants to bring you into full view of people that can love you. The problem is we often hide because we don't want to be in full view of people that can hurt us. And I just want to let you know, friend, that that's not the way it works. If you're hiding, you're going to hide from everybody. You're not going to just hide from people that would hurt you. You're also going to hide from people that would love you. And so you got to come out of hiding. And most of you are hiding in plain sight, meaning that you're here, you're in the room, but what's going on in your heart has you closed for business. It has you closed off. And so when people are not responding to you or they're not noticing you and you feel invisible, it's because of that. And I want to help you open back up so that people notice you. I had one student like that. She said, Jackie, men never see me. She said, men don't notice me. It's like I'm invisible. And I knew in my spirit that she was just hiding, like what I'm saying right now. And I said to her, look, hon, you are not invisible. You're beautiful. You are. You're beautiful on the inside and the outside. I said, I think you're hiding. And so we did heart work together, which is what you do in the first portion of the Last Year Single program. The little bit of heart work that we've done in this challenge, you really dig into heart work in the first portion of the program. And she did her heart work, and you know what happened? She started being noticed. In fact, she was embarrassed. She came and she said, Jackie, the craziest thing's happening to me. She said, everywhere I go, men are noticing me. Young men, old men, short men, tall men, fat men, skinny men. All the colors of the rainbow men. All of them are noticing me. They're making eye contact with me. They're smiling. They're saying hello. They're holding open doors for me. What the heck is going on? They can see you. You don't have the cloak of invisibility on. They can see you. They can see you now. They couldn't see you before, but now because you're open, you've taken down the walls, now you can be seen. And yeah, you can be seen by people that are up to no good. But remember, you're God defended. And so you don't have to be self-defended. I talked about that on day 2 of the challenge. You're God defended. What does that mean? That means God will show you what you need to see, when you need to see it, and only if you need to see it. There's some things that you simply don't need to know. You know why? Because you have this fantasy mindset about your spirit mate, and you're going to call yellow flags red. So if you see that thing too soon, before you can really learn the character of this person, before you can really allow yourself to fully get to know them, you are going to cut and run. You're going to cut and run because you're going to escalate that yellow flag to red because you haven't realized yet that everyone has yellow flags. That's what I'm trying to say about fantasy. That's what I'm trying to say about putting those leaders on pedestals. Everywhere, spiritual leaders are toppling off their pedestals. People are finding out that, hey, this is not who I thought this person was. Hey, this is not what I thought this person's marriage was like. Actually, they've been cheating this whole time. Actually, they're addicted to porn this whole time. Actually, they were a pedophile when they were younger. All kinds of crazy stuff are happening. They've stole all the money, right? Why is this happening? Because these people were given enough rope to hang themselves with. We should never be idolizing people. Yeah, honor people. Yeah, honor them to the extent that they deserve that honor, right? They have to have good integrity and good character. And a lot of people say, well, I never really thought that that they would do something like this because they seem different than this. Well, the reason why they seem different than that is because you had rose-colored glasses on. There were lots of signs. Friends, there's always signs. People come to me, and I'm not victim shaming, so please don't hear what I'm not saying because I myself have been victimized. I'm not a victim. I'm a victor. But I have been victimized in my life, so I'm not shaming you if you've gone through trauma at the hands of someone else, but there are signs. There are signs that that person is unhealthy. You know, we see little glimpses of things and we ignore those things because the other half of us, okay, the survivors out here are going to escalate those yellow flags to red. But the other half of us, okay, the victims, the victim mindseted people, they're going to de-escalate those yellow flags to green. Friends, a yellow flag is a yellow flag, meaning that this is an area that someone really needs to work on, and then you need to see progress in this area, and that's what turns it green. When someone's self-aware, when they are committed to personal growth, that turns that yellow flag green. But when someone doesn't care, okay, about this area that needs work, when they're not surrendering it to God, when they are not getting therapy over it, where they're not doing their heart work, where they don't care if this area is affecting other people, they're not self-aware, or if they are self-aware, they just don't care, that takes that yellow flag to red. But a lot of you are just dancing with the red flags like it's a parade, all right? And then you have a whole different problem. Most of the times, those people have anxious attachment styles as well, meaning that as more the person pulls away, the more that you're going to run after them and pull back because you just want somebody, and this person will do. No, we're not going to do that. But there were always signs. There were always signs. And when you see those signs, you can't ignore them. You can't de-escalate them to green. You can't give people a pass. And you know who's the worst at this? Christians. Christian people. Because our entire manifesto, the Bible, tells us that we should forgive, tells us that we should forget, tells us that we should, someone slaps us on the cheek, give them the other cheek. No, friends, those parables were not used for this purpose. You have to know how to have boundaries. And some of you don't know how to have boundaries because you're just a bleeding heart. You're just someone who allows everybody to come in because you think that that's what Jesus would want. Everybody's coming in and they're wiping their feet on your heart. Think about it as your living room. My daughter doesn't allow anyone to wear shoes in her house, and her house is perfectly clean. Guess what? She did not get that from me. All right? Because I'm all out here, ADHD, everything's a mess, trying to figure out life. And she's like super organized. And I appreciate that about her. She didn't get that from her dad either. All right? So she's like this. No one comes in. No one wears their shoes. And some of you need to start adopting that policy. People are not allowed to wear their muddy shoes into your life. Now, I'm not saying that you put up crazy, unrealistic standards. That's where you have to know where the balance is. But you're important. You matter. You can't let people just come in with their dirty, muddy shoes and just wipe them all over your carpet. You can't give everyone access to your inner place. You can't tell everyone about all the things that have happened in your life. A lot of you are just committing the fatal flaw in dating of TMI, too much information, letting people in, getting too vulnerable. And then the rest of you are on the other side of the pendulum where you don't know how to be vulnerable at all, right? You just have everything perfect on the outside and you are just not letting anyone know the real you at all. And so regardless of whether you're over here, everyone has your passwords, everyone just can come in and put their feet up on your coffee table, eat all the food in your fridge, or you're over here where you're not letting anybody in at all. They have to prove themselves. In fact, you're sabotaging anyone's attempts to get close to you. And you're like, well, the survival of the fittest. If he really, really loves me, he'll make it through all of my booby traps and he'll swim through my alligator moat and he'll make it and pull down the drawbridge and come inside. No, friends. The only kind of men that would do that are super, super unhealthy men that see you as a conquest. And gentlemen, the only ladies that do that kind of thing they're not the prize. You want a woman who's in her soft area. You want a woman who knows how to be feminine, and gentle, knows how to welcome you in vulnerability, appropriate vulnerability with boundaries. If you meet someone who doesn't have any boundaries over here, just allows you to act like you've known them all their lives and, wants physical touch too quick and wants emotional connection too quick, this person's not healthy. And if it's on the opposite side where it feels like you've been on 20 dates and you still don't even know this person, this is not healthy. This is someone who's walled off. It's not survival of the fittest, it's survival of the foolish at this point. If you keep trying and keep trying and keep trying, okay, you're not the wrecking ball. It's not your job to tear down walls. And healthy people aren't going to do it. Healthy people that have boundaries and they have identity and they know who they are, they're not going to do either of these scenarios. And then in the middle, we have those yellow flags. Okay? Those are both red flag situations. And in the middle, we have yellow flags where people have been hurt before, but they're trying to be vulnerable. They're showing progress and vulnerability. They're working on it. They're aware of it and they're taking action. That's super, super important. All right. I hope y'all are listening because I'm telling you guys some really good things, lots of golden nuggets here. So where do these unrealistic fantasy ideas of relationship come from? It comes from a lot of stuff. The culture that you have grown up in, it comes from fairy tales and rom-coms. We cannot be taking a page out of culture's playbook for our love life. That is not real life. That is not what it looks like. It just simply doesn't. I know that it should be for entertainment purposes only, but let's face it, a lot of that gets in our heart and we start to judge things according to that. Whether it's songs, it doesn't even have to be a TV show or a movie. It doesn't have to be a cartoon fairy tale. It could be a romance novel that you're reading. I know who you are. I know that books are back. Books are back, y'all, but not good books. Crazy books. Books that are just as bad as any soft porn movie that you would watch on TV, full of spicy situations. They're going to give you unrealistic sexual expectations, number one, because that's not what sex looks like, all right? It doesn't look like that, all right? And then two, just of how the people are meeting and how it's happening, and it's just very unrealistic. So books are back, but not in a good way. And so you need to be careful. For a lot of you, that's not for entertainment purposes only. Like you're using it and it's actually infiltrating what you think things should be like. And that isn't good. And then what else? Music, movies, television, books. And then I'm not even talking about just the spicy books. Jane Austen, all that. Mr. Darcy. Well, hello. Dude was like borderline narcissist if you really read between the lines. Okay? I love Jane Austen. I read all of her books when I was young, more than once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. And yes, Pride and Prejudice is beautiful, especially the Keira Knightley one. Love that. Darcy, when he's walking across the field. Gentlemen, close your eyes. You don't need to know about this. And he's got on the white, like, V-neck, like bed shirt thing, and the cords are open and his chest is showing, and he's got like a cape on and it's flowing in the wind of his cloak, and it's foggy. And she's there and she's trembling. Come on. It's amazing, but it's not real. It isn't. And I promise you, your most romantic moments in life are not going to look like that. It's not going to look like that. But also at the same time, there are going to be romantic times in life. There are going to be times when you feel super close to another human being in marriage, where you feel, passionate, where there's going to be infatuation, the butterflies. I know so many of you are like, I want the butterflies. Okay, the butterflies are great, but they die. Okay? They die. Look up the timeline of a life of a butterfly. They don't live really long, do they? They just live a couple days. It's really sad. It's like they take all this time as a worm, and then they turn into a cocoon. They go in a cocoon. They go into a place. They become mush, and then they become a butterfly. But the lifespan of a butterfly is not a long time. And so neither is the lifespan of your butterfly era in relationship. The infatuation stage is not supposed to last. It's supposed to give way to something deeper, something more solid, right? It should. And some of us, the older we get and the more life we've seen, we're just a little bit more realists, and we don't really have a butterfly stage. And then we ask ourselves questions like, is this the person? Aren't I supposed to feel like out of my mind, crazy in love, head over heels? Well, why would you want to do that? First of all, why would you want to fall in love in the first place? It sounds painful. Falling is not good. And at your age, you might break a hip. Let's just be honest. It's not a pothole. You just walk out your door and you just fall into it one day. No, you want to grow in love. This is a language that we need to talk about. You want to know why? Because I coach a lot of avoidant attachers. And when people use this language like fall in love, it makes them feel afraid. And the reason why is because they're like, I don't know. Am I feeling enough feelings? Do I have enough desire for this person? And then they start talking themselves out of it because they've never had this rose-colored, passionate, tempest type of feeling for this person where they can't live without them and they can't sleep because they can't stop thinking about them. That's a little obsessive. And yeah, when we're kids, a lot of times, because our hormones are raging and we've never experienced love before, we call that puppy love back then, we have these feelings. But as we grow up and we grow older, especially those of us that are a little healthier in our hearts, that infatuation stage feels more like, I really like this person. I really enjoy their company. I really can't wait to see them again. Yes, I think about them, not obsessively. And I'm certainly not obsessively worrying about whether or not they're going to cut and run and leave me, all you anxious people. Not obsessively trying to decode their text messages to find out if they're rejecting us. That's not the right kind of obsession. That's not infatuation. That's anxiety. Okay? And a lot of you have a hard time connecting to healthy people because healthy people are not giving you that type of anxiety. They're not tweaking your dysregulated nervous system. You're not going on the dopamine roller coaster with them, and so you automatically think, oh, this is boring. This feels kind of safe. Yeah, welcome to the good place, to the good life. Okay, that's what you want. All right, so it's important that we understand that these fantasies are not going to hold up in the light of day. They're just not going to. And so if you feel super excited about someone, you might want to check that dopamine at the door and figure out where it's coming from, because it's probably a sign that that relationship is going to hit a brick wall. All right? If you can't stop thinking about them and you're obsessing about them, and every time you're with them, your whole body feels like it's on fire, yeah, let's reassess, because that probably means that you have some sort of unseen thing happening here, a tether happening here, where this situation is already escalating and out of control and in an unhealthy way. But growing in affection for someone, getting to know someone, and allowing them to get to know you, that's amazing. where you keep wanting to see them and you keep showing up and they keep showing up and things are consistent and you feel safe to be yourself with them and you want to open up to them. And guess what happens when that happens? Gentlemen, this is for you too. They start getting more and more attractive to you. More and more attractive to you. And I want you to watch this. If the more and more intimate emotionally you become with someone over time, if you start trying to find flaws with them, if you start looking for their red flags, then you're probably dealing with some, avoidant tendencies. Because a lot of times when things are going too good, we're going to start to self-sabotage because we're afraid. We're afraid of being intimate, and now we're crossing over the boundaries, our boundaries. Right? Not the good kind, the other kind. So we're not in the guardrails anymore. We're trying to go outside of those things. And so it's important that we're able to understand what's really happening instead of just saying, oh, I guess they're not the right one for me. Because if they were the right one, then I wouldn't feel this way. That's not true. It isn't true at all, especially because we have to get to the root of where that's coming from. Because remember, it wasn't the trauma that's going to keep you from having a beautiful love story. It's the lies that you believe because of the trauma that's going to keep you from having a beautiful love story. And so in the first phase of Last Year Single, we unpack all those lies. We catch all those little foxes that are destroying your vineyard of love by the tail, right? It's a very supernatural process. It is not it's go at your own pace, but it's also live taught, meaning that you're not going to be going it alone. You're going to be going it with like-minded peers and with our amazing coaches that teach you. I have master heartwork coaches in that phase. All the teaching that you're going to be watching is little old me, right? So you're going to be seeing videos of me. You're going to be reading things. You're going to be doing activations. You can show up every week live. There's 2 different times for all of you in different time zones. And that'll be on Monday nights, Monday afternoons, and Monday evenings. And they're always available in replay. And then there's all kinds of other live opportunities for you in phase 1. There's daily prayer for those of you that can jump on, and maybe you can only do one day. It doesn't matter. But it's going to help you and support you, and those are supernatural times. We have hundreds and hundreds of single people that come together to pray every single week over each other's love stories, over God's single sons and daughters in the earth, all kinds of things, over the divine masculine, divine feminine, over each other and whatever problems you're having in life. That is a support system for you that is priceless, honestly. And then on Saturdays, I teach something called Supernatural Saturday. It's available in replay if you can't watch it, but it's your current prophetic reality. So it's amazing. A lot of people say that it's their church time when they come because they get so much revelation. That's awesome. On Sunday nights, we either have once a month a whole community gathering of current prophetic reality. So we have a whole community prophetic night, which is powerful time for you to really feel encouraged in the spirit. And then on every other Sunday of the month, we have activations, and you can go there if you want to. In phase 1, that's what you have access to. In phase 2, as soon as you come through, that's our other phase of the program, you go right into a love story accelerator, a 7-date challenge. You learn how to date and date well. You learn how to tell whether or not this person really has potential to go to exclusivity with you. We have divine feminine stuff. We have attachment style stuff that goes on in phase 2. We have boundary stuff that goes on in phase 2. And once again, it's go at your own pace with the curriculum, but there is a live coaching available in the afternoon and evening every Tuesday. It also is available in replay. Okay? And then you have access to everything else that I said that you get in phase 1. And then after you graduate from your program, you're invited into the VIP community. That's our subscription community. That's where we have single spotlights. We do community-based matchmaking. That's where we have love stories, all kinds of people that have met each other because of this program and in this program come and tell their stories on the love story segment. We have all kinds of continuing education there. And you get all of that for $37 a month. And it's built into this package, which is on sale right now, special because of our Last Year Single 5-year anniversary. It's $197 to get started. That's essentially for your program. And then after 30 days, you are going to start paying $37 subscription. That subscription is cancel anytime. If you do cancel, obviously you don't have access to the program or the community. And we don't really have people cancel until they get the breakthrough that they're looking for. And we do believe that you'll get that breakthrough. I think that our stats pretty much speak for themselves. And so I don't really do a lot of selling during this challenge because I think that our street cred is our success. And if you want to see those success stories, you can go to Jackie Dorman Official on Instagram. All my spotlights, I have 8 spotlights called Love. And then I have a success story spotlight, a testimony spotlight. So all those 8 that have 100 pictures in them. So there's at least 800 couples that are there that you can just click on and see all the different people. And then my grid also has a lot of success stories as well. Those are real people that got success through this teaching, this coaching, this program, and you're next. I believe that with all my heart. All right. So we do not want to stay in fantasy land anymore. And friends, the other big block that's going to happen for a lot of you is religion. Religion creates unrealistic expectations of what your future spouse needs to look like. It kind of sets the bar. You're like, shouldn't the bar be high, Jackie? Not in a religious way, it shouldn't be. You shouldn't be a gift inspector. You should be a fruit inspector. If you're going to look at anything in someone's life, you need to look at the fruit of their life, not whether or not they have specific spiritual gifts, what their church attendance are. You guys, I just want to let you know, because of all these toppling pedestals with spiritual leaders, a lot of people can't figure out their church affiliation right now. A lot of good Christian people are trying to figure out where they can have spiritual community because of these things. And so it's important that you don't sit down and interrogate someone about what scriptures they can quote or how much of the Bible they read today or what church they attend or how they serve in that church. That is going to get you not the right answers of people that are kind of not deconstructing their faith, but they're deconstructing their religion to find a deeper level of their faith. And they're good people. A lot of good people out there that are doing that right now. All right, so we want to normalize yellow flags, not red. We want to normalize yellow flags. They're just human differences. They can be quirks. They can be growth patterns that people are in. Family baggage, inexperience in relationship. I have someone right now who is with a guy who's just very inexperienced. He's not making he's not doing things in the timing or the way she wants him to do it because he's just never been in a relationship before and he is really trying. And that's what makes that yellow flag green. He's really trying. Just because someone comes from a divorced family doesn't mean that you need to vote them off the island. That's not a red flag, right? But have they learned new healthy connection patterns? Are they just taking a page out of their family heritage? Okay, they're still reacting the way that their family reacted, which caused the divorce in the first place? Or are they learning new ways of communication, new ways of, coming together with others? That's important. And then most importantly, making sure that you understand that this isn't about 2 perfect people finding each other. It's about 2 imperfect people that are willing to come together. They're committed to growth and they're committed to walking out God's story together in this life. That is what the most important thing is. The number 1 green flag you should look for in a future mate is, are they committed to their own personal growth, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually? And you're going to be able to see that. So stop looking for flawless, friends. You got to start looking for faithful. Are they faithful? Are they consistent? Do they communicate? Maybe not perfectly, but do they communicate? All right, so I want you to go ahead and write down 3 things that in the past you've labeled as deal breakers, but they actually might be yellow flags. All right, I want you to do that. And go ahead and post them in our challenge group if you're in our challenge group, and we'll give you some feedback on those things. 3 things that are not non-negotiables from heaven. After this teaching, you realize, hey, you know what? These might be 3 things that I'm just doing to keep myself safe. And you know who you are. Some of you just have an unrealistic expectation about the height of the guy, about the age of the woman, gentlemen. You want someone who's 15 years younger than you because you think those are the only ones that can have babies still. Just so you know, women can have babies all the way up to menopause, which is usually, I think the average age of menopause is like 52. Okay, and just because you waited to get married until you're in your 50s doesn't mean that you automatically can score a 30-year-old. That's not the way things work. Okay, and so stop having unrealistic expectations of what this needs to look like. Stop looking at waistlines and hairlines. Stop looking at bottom lines in people's checkbooks. What you want to see is someone who's a good steward of their finances and resources, even if they might be in a hard place in life. When I met my husband, he had just gone through a divorce, and he had a bankruptcy that was connected to that divorce, so he was rebuilding. You might really meet someone in a rebuilding phase, and you shouldn't cut and run from them just because they're not in a perfect place in life, because they're in a hard place. People in hard places don't make them bad people. And so it's really important that you have an open heart and open mind about so many things. The number one compliment and testimony that I get in last year's single is, Jackie, I'm so happy. This is amazing. It's so supernatural, but it never would have happened without the teaching in this program. I definitely would not have given this person a chance. And they're amazing. And they're perfect for me. And my life is, so much better now, right? And I didn't say perfect, but perfect for me. Perfect for me. So I wouldn't have given this person a chance. I wouldn't even give them a second glance, but I'm so glad that I changed all that. I changed my mindsets. I changed my heart posture because I would have missed out on this amazing person. All right? All right. So fantasy is fragile, friends. We don't want to live in fantasy, but real love is unbreakable. In fact, the Bible says that love never fails. And I believe that we can have that kind of agape love through God in our relationships. That's why we're a threefold cord that is not easily broken. The right man or woman for you is not going to be flawless. They are not going to be perfect, but they are going to be perfect for you. We're looking for faithful, and we're looking for someone who wants to continue to grow. Those are the most important things. All right, so it's time for us to end today. I want to give out a prize. I just want to let you know that registration has been open. I didn't run ads for this challenge. I'm just doing it to the warm audience. All of you that have been in the challenge group or on my email list and you've just been hanging out. I wanted to add some more value to you. I wanted to teach you guys. I wanted to help you guys pull the trigger and move forward. There's 4 months left in 2025, and that's more than enough time for you to be in a marriage-minded relationship. I believe that with all my heart. And so $197 is the special. That's our 5-year anniversary special that's going on right now. It's usually $497, and it will go back up to $497. So make sure, which is also just a steal. If you've seen all these other dating programs out here, they cost thousands of dollars, and they don't even have a handful of success stories. I'm not dogging them. If what they're doing is helping someone, great, I bless them. But I'm just saying what we do here is supernatural, and the proof is in the pudding. Okay, and so we price it for all of you single moms or people that are on fixed incomes. We want to make sure that everyone can join. $197 to start, and then it's $37 a month after 30 days. You can cancel that if you needed to. Nobody does. All right, Sarah King, you are our winner today. Email admin@jackiedorman.com, and we will get you in touch with your prize. I'm going to pray over you guys. Father, we just really pray that you would teach us, show us, heal us, grow us. We need you to teach us the things that we need to know, Lord. We have so many things, so many mindsets, so many false beliefs right now. And so we need you to show us what those things are so we can come out of agreement with them. We want to have the abundant, beautiful life that you have for us. Heal us in the places that we are not even aware are hurting. All the broken places that are causing us to show up in false and counterfeit identities. And grow us, Lord. Let us have a growth spurt. Let 2025 end very differently than it began, Lord. Let us be in new places, wide open places, full of the abundant desires of our heart in our hands, Lord, that we receive the things that we've been praying for so many years. Let it be so. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you for joining me for the Summer of Love. This is our last Summer of Love challenge because summer's ending. I'll see you over in the challenge group. Get in there, guys, girls. If you're not in there and you have a Facebook, join that private challenge group on my jackiedorman.com site at the top so that you can stay in touch with us. I really hope that you go ahead and make this your decision to jump in to the program. I promise you in a couple months, you're going to wish that you started now. I really do. I have so many people circle back around and say, man, I should have done it. I just didn't want to let go of that $197. Friends, you're going to spend it anyway, and you're not even going to know what you spent it on. It's just going to get nickeled and dimed away, and this is going to be a seed into your future marriage that you are going to be so glad that you sowed. I'll see you soon. Bye, everyone.